Eczema's unrelenting itch and rash. If you know the feeling, you should know the facts. The eczema medication you're taking may not be right for you. Visit myrawtruth.com and talk to your dermatologist about your symptoms and treatment options.
Hey listeners, this is Peter and welcome back to the History Shorts. Today's episode is brought to you by the Podcast Republic, your ultimate listening app. Discover and subscribe to thousands of podcasts from around the world. Download Podcast Republic today, available on Google Play and the Apple App Store. Today on History Shorts. If you watched a man step out of a capsule nearly 20 miles above the Earth today, you might assume it was a publicity stunt. You know, one of those Red Bull things. But in 1960, it was an experiment and a gamble with death. No safety nets, no rescue helicopters waiting overhead. No precedent, really. Just a balloon, a pressure suit, and one Air Force officer willing to fall through the sky to answer a question that nobody could yet answer. What happens to a human body at the edge of space? This is the story of Joseph Kittinger and the leap that helped shape the future of aviation, spaceflight, and human survival at extreme altitude. Today's History Brief returns to famous Americans you never knew existed. A quick word from our sponsors.
I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and zero weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20 to get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. Again, go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20.
This day in history. On March 8, 1917, protests in Petrograd helped ignite the February Revolution in Russia, leading to the abdication of Tsar Nicholas II and the collapse of centuries of imperial rule. And every year on March 8th, the world observes International Women's Day, a tradition rooted in early 20th century labor movements and the struggle for political and social equality. Story of the day. In the late 1950s, the United States faced a new frontier. Jet aircraft were flying higher and faster than ever before. Rocket technology was accelerating toward space, and the Cold War demanded innovation, especially in reconnaissance flights that pushed pilots into the upper atmosphere. But there was a terrifying unknown. If a pilot had ejected at extreme altitude, would he survive? At 100,000 feet, the sky is nearly black. The air pressure is so low that unprotected body fluids can boil. Temperatures plunge far below freezing. No one knew what would happen if a human fell from that height. So the U.S. Air Force created Project Excelsior, a series of high-altitude parachute tests designed to answer that question. Well, they needed a volunteer. Captain Joseph Kittinger was already known for his calm under pressure. A fighter pilot with a reputation for precision and nerve, he understood the risks and accepted them anyway. Project Excelsior wasn't about records or fame. It was really about survival. Early test jumps revealed serious problems. One previous jumper had spun uncontrollably, nearly losing consciousness from the intense forces. To prevent that, engineers developed a small drogue parachute, a stabilizing device meant to keep a falling body from tumbling. The technology was unproven. Kittinger would actually be the first one to test it himself. In November and December of 1959, Kittinger made 2 high-altitude jumps. Both were dangerous. During one descent, his right glove malfunctioned, causing his hand to swell painfully due to exposure to near-vacuum conditions. He never reported the injury during the mission, fearing that it might halt the program. That decision speaks volumes about the mindset of Cold War test pilots. Risk was not avoided, it was just, well, accepted. The final Excelsior mission launched from the New Mexico desert before sunrise. It was August 16, 1960. Kittinger climbed into a small open gondola attached to a massive helium balloon. Slowly, silently, he rose higher and higher. At 102,800 feet, he reached his target altitude, more than 19 miles above the Earth. Below him, the planet curved gently. Above him, space was beginning. He later described the silence as very overwhelming, a world without wind or sound. Then he opened the capsule door. Standing on a narrow platform, Kittinger looked down at the desert so far away it barely seemed real. There was no countdown, no dramatic music. He simply stepped off. For 4 minutes and 36 seconds, he fell. At first, the air was too thin to slow him significantly. He accelerated rapidly, eventually reaching speeds estimated at more than 600 miles per hour, though exact measurements remain debated. The drag chute stabilized his descent, preventing the deadly spin that had plagued earlier tests. As he dropped into denser air, the sky turned from black to deep blue, then to familiar brightness of the Earth's atmosphere. Finally, at lower altitude, his main parachute deployed, and he landed safely in the desert. Kittinger's leap set multiple records at the time: highest parachute jump, longest freefall, and highest balloon ascent. More importantly, it provided critical data. Engineers learned that humans could survive extreme altitude ejections with proper equipment. The findings influenced the design of pressure suits and escape systems used by future astronauts and high-altitude pilots. In many ways, Kittinger's jump became a bridge between aviation and the emerging space program. He was not an astronaut, but he helped make astronauts possible. Kittinger's career did not end with that jump. He later served in the Vietnam War, where he was shot down, captured, and held as a prisoner of war for nearly 1 year. His resilience during captivity reflected that same calm determination that he showed in the stratosphere. Decades later, he returned to the public spotlight when Australian skydiver Felix Baumgartner broke his altitude record in 2012, with Kittinger serving as an advisor and mentor. Technology had advanced by then, obviously, it's 2012, but the spirit of the mission remained the same. It is tempting to describe Kittinger as jumping from space, and that's kind of what I want to name this episode. Technically, he did not cross the boundaries scientists define as outer space, though, the Kármán line at 100 kilometers. But 102,800 feet, he stood closer to space than any human had ever been without a spacecraft. This was not a stunt. It was an experiment conducted in an era when understanding the limits of human body meant risking it. The History Brief. The following comes to us from Felton and Fowler's Famous Americans You Never Knew Existed. Debbie Horn, a 229-pound housewife from Gibraltar, Michigan, was the first overweight American to slim down by having her jaws wired together by an oral surgeon. By the summer of 1974, just 7 months after her last solid meal, the tight-lipped Miss Horn had shed 73 pounds, and the man with the wire cutters, Dr. Daniel M. Laskin, DDS, had gone into the mouth-shutting business whole hog, so to speak at least, locking up an additional 100 mouths. In an interview, Dr. Laskin cautioned overeaters about opting too quickly for the mouth-wiring method. Insisting that it was gimmicky, he noted that he had turned down many applicants for the procedure. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today and helping make this little show such a mighty success. If you are enjoying this show and would like to help with its production, you can always donate a few dollars at buymeacoffee.com or become a Patreon member to enjoy these episodes ad-free. Both links can be found on our website at www.historyshortspodcast.com. And as I have been saying this week, I hope you guys check out our YouTube channel, where I recently started a new series called 25 Events That Made America. Have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you all again tomorrow.